Welcome. Today we're going to talk about and demonstrate Dell Precision Optimizer. Dell Precision Optimizer, DPO for short, soon to be Dell Optimizer for Precision, DOP for short. It's the same tool, it's just getting renamed when the new version rolls out, just so you're aware of that. It's a free tool that comes on every Dell Precision workstation, both fixed and mobile, and it can automatically adjust your workstation settings to run applications at the fastest speeds possible. It has three main components to it. Optimization. This is where you select or build the application profiles. We'll talk about that in great detail in a few minutes. Analytics. This has several tools that you can run to identify performance issues on the workstation. And system updates. Different from Microsoft or Windows updates, this is specific to the Dell drivers and Dell applications and BIOS for this particular workstation. This demo is going to focus on application profiles. We'll turn them on and off, update the pre-existing profiles, and then we'll look at creating some custom profiles and importing and exporting those profiles through the GUI tool. We'll then switch to the command line and show you how to manage both DPO and your profiles from the command line interface. Finally, we'll look at how you could manage profiles and DPO settings using your enterprise management tools that you already have. So let me flip over to my Precision and I'll show you how this works. So as you can see, here's the three sections: optimization, analytics, and system updates. For analytics, you have several, run diagnostics, and you have, I must not have started this as an administrator. Um, so you have several tools that you can run here. I ran this report earlier today, and you can see I didn't have a heavy workload on this at the time that I was running that. But if you dig into the reports, you can see these reports run over the course of an hour. You can set those for 2 hours, 3 hours, however long you want to run those to get a snapshot of what's happening on your device. Some really neat tools there. Here's the system updates section. You know what? I didn't start it as administrator. I already said that. Let me go back and do that so you can see what I'm talking about here. So as that's opening, the system updates sections, we'll go and take a quick look at that. And you can see there's, hardware drivers, BIOS, chipset, video. You have control over all of this. You can come in here and, including turning it off altogether. But if you wanted it on, you can either check for updates, you can automatically download and install, you can set a schedule, you could, include or exclude any types, of these particular things. Let's say you have a GPU that has very specific drivers on the video. You may want to uncheck video so you don't inadvertently get something that's going to conflict with that. But that's the update feature, pretty straightforward. So let's talk about the optimization. As you can see, there's a bunch of preloaded profiles already in here. 27, I think, is the current number. And these were done, both with the AI engine built into Optimizer, as well as in conjunction with the manufacturers or the developers of these applications, so they can be, as highly tuned as possible. If you want to see actually what they're looking at and what they're considering, you can take a look here and see, both what the AI is going to look at and what the manufacturer had to say about these. So to turn one of these on, it's simply just a slider. You turn it on and now your machine is going to run in optimized mode for, in this case, 3D Studio Max computational. All of these have the same, information screen that you can go look at, see what's different between the two. You can run more than one at one time. So let's turn on this particular component of 3D Studio Max and AutoCAD, and you see we have no problem here. It is possible that you can have a conflict with the settings though, like this. So I try to turn on that component of 3D Studio and I get a warning that it's in conflict with one of our other optimization profiles. So I could hit yes here and run both, but what I'm probably going to do is impact the performance of one or maybe both of the apps here that I have lined up. So you should really try to avoid doing that when possible. Those are the pre-made profiles. You can also check for updates here. It takes a few minutes to run, but it'll come back. I already checked this morning, so I know it's going to come back and not have anything to update for us. So it'll just come back and tell us. If it did have an update, it would go ahead and automatically do that. Let's switch over to advanced options. And this is where you can build your own profiles. Hello, it's a little slow to load, must be because it's checking for updates. So you can see I have two profiles here. This Adobe Premiere Elements, which I'm actually in the process of building. That one's not complete yet. I'm not running that because I'm not running Premiere Elements at this time. So, and I have a VMware Workstation one. This is my test device, and I run a pretty heavy workload of VMs on it. Anywhere from 4 to 6 servers on this at any given time. So I built a performance package specifically for what the resources that VMware is using. Right now that's off. If we turn that on, it is now optimized for my VMware Workstation use. We also have the ability to export this. So let's go ahead and export that. Desktop's fine. We'll call this VMware. So I've exported that now, and you see that show up down here on the desktop. So now let's go ahead and delete this profile. Get the warning, I've deleted it, so now I don't have that VMware profile at all. Let me go up to my import section here, import it back in, and there we go, it's back. Whenever you import a profile, its default posture is to do it off. So let's go ahead and turn that on. So now my VMware profile is back up and running. So let's go ahead and look at what you can do on the command line here. Let me close that. Open up my command line. So with this, along with the actual tool, as you saw, you really need to open it as an administrator. So let me go ahead and navigate to where DPO lives, which is Program Files, Dell, PPO. So if we take a look at the directory, this is where all of the Dell Optimizer stuff lives, and what we're looking for is this one right here, DPO CMD. That allows us to interact with the command line for DPO. So let's go ahead and run DPO CMD just with no command lines and see what we get. So as you'd probably expect, we get a whole list of options of what we can do with it, the help screen, so to speak. So let's go take a quick look at those. So we can, save profiles, enable profiles, disable profiles, all the stuff that we just did in the GUI, list profiles, but there's way more. You can schedule reports, you could cancel reports, enable features. Let's say you don't want the users to have the ability to run system update. You can just take that feature away. You can take away their ability to do profile updates, enable or disabling features, same set of features. So you can update it now if you wanted to run a policy to go ahead and update all of your precisions at the same time. So really powerful. You can do everything from the command line rather that you can do from inside the GUI. So I'm just going to show you a couple things here real quick that we want to look at. So if we last left this, the VMware profile was imported and it was running. So we can verify that by saying list profiles. And you see right there on top is our VMware Workstation 1, and its state is enabled. So you see these by both name and by GUID. So I tend to use GUID whenever I'm doing command line operations on them, just because it is possible to have one that is either the same name or very similar named. So the GUIDs are always definitely unique identifiers. So I have my little cheat sheet here so you guys don't have to watch me bumble around and type. So let's go ahead and disable our VMware profile. So that 36F2, 36F2, yep, that's the same GUID. We got the right one. So we run that and profiles disabled. Let's list profiles to verify. Yep, state disabled. So if we wanted to triple check that, let's go into the GUI and take a look. So as this is opening up here, yep, there we have it, and it is disabled. While we're in here, let's just go ahead and delete that again. So no more VMware profile. Let's verify that. Yep, gone, no more VMware profile. So let's go ahead and import our VMware profile that we made a few minutes ago. And yep, it's imported. So we can verify that again by running our list profiles, and you see it's back. And again, its default state is disabled whenever you just import it. So let me grab my enable command. And we'll go back and check. Yep, and it's back and it's enabled. Now, I showed you all the command line interface to show you that this is basically how you use, this is what you're going to use if you're going to manage it from an enterprise level. So let me switch over, let me close this, and I'm going to switch over to my SCCM server, and I'll show you how you can manage this on an enterprise level. So here's my SCCM server, and I've made a collection specifically for Precision workstations. You know, I just did a WMI query against the model for Precision, so I've loaded up my 2 workstations in there. If we go into the software library and packages, for the sake of the demo, I've already add a custom Dell Precision Optimizer profile, disable a custom profile, and enable a custom profile. And I'll show you what's involved in building one of those. So let's build a new package. And I'm going to call this enable VMware profile. Give it a version. This is optional, but it's just old habits die hard. I like to use the date when I do this. And we'll go and we're going to create a standard program. And we're going to give this a name again. And I am going to paste that same command line that we used in the command line interface right into this package. See, it's DPO command, enable profile, and then the GUID of the profile I want to do it, or I want to enable. We are going to start this in program files, Dell PPO, which is where that executable lives on the machine. So we're going to run this with admin rights. We're going to hit next. We're going to leave all these default values, and we've now created an application. Where'd you go? We've now created a package rather that we can run on the machines to enable our specific VMware profile that we've built. So let's see what that looks like back on our Precision. So I have, as I told you, already built a couple of these to show you. Where are we here? Microsoft Endpoint Manager, and I have put them in Software Center. So here's my disable custom profile, enable custom profile, and add custom profile. So let's go take a look and see what state we left our VMware profile in. Okay, it is there and it is running. So let's go ahead and delete it. So no more VMware profile. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and run the add. And it's just run a command line along with that file. That file is very tiny, 1K, 2K. You know, it takes obviously no time at all to run. So it should be there in disabled if we went and looked at it now. So let's go ahead and run the enable one as well while we're here. So we've now added that back in and we've enabled it. Let's go in and verify. Yep, there it is, and it's running. Perfect. So you can use any tool. I happen to use SCCM, but you could use LANDesk, you could use Case, SCCM, you could use Group Policy. You know, you could even put this in login scripts really if you wanted to. Very dynamic in how you want to manage these. So with that, that is the end of the demonstration. So we saw how you could manage the profiles via the GUI for individual workstations. We used the command line to manage really all the features of DPO. And then finally, we deployed DPO profiles across your enterprise to all of your workstations. For more information, please reach out to your account team or you can go to dell.com/optimizer. Thank you.